Welcome to Auntie Life Unfiltered, the podcast where we say the things everyone else whispers, feels, or pretends they're totally fine about. Around here, nothing is too awkward, too messy, or too, oh my god, did she really just say that? Yes, I did. This is your space for real talk, real stories, real emotions, and the kind of honesty that makes you laugh, cry, and heal a little. Sometimes all at once. So grab your drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. Because life's too short to sugarcoat it, and I'm not here to do that anyway. Welcome to Auntie Life Unfiltered. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to Auntie Life Unfiltered. Today I'm joined again with Jonathan, which I just released his episode last Friday. And this one will be coming out this Friday, April 24th. We're doing our third edition of What Would Auntie Do? So all things fun, just some crazy fun questions that people have sent in that we've come up with ourselves. So thanks for joining me, Jonathan. I'm excited for you to have a fun episode here with me today.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to mention, me and Jonathan both have been blown away about how many people have been viewing the content from his episode. He is definitely one of my higher viewed episodes, so that's awesome. I think it really spoke to everybody, especially with it being like World Semicolon Day last week. I think it was all just like perfect timing, so it's awesome to see that, and I'm glad we're getting the word out there.
I think it's because of the beard.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that? I was gonna say this to you, but I was like, "Ugh." My one friend, she messaged me. She's like, "Wow, his beard!" on one of the reels. I was like, "Yeah." So I thought that was funny. She's this
It
kind of
almost doesn't
cool,
feel
hippie,
extreme.
witchy lady. So yeah, that's awesome. I love it. I love
Believe it or
facial
not, it's
hair
been
for
trimmed.
men. So yeah. I always, if guys cut their facial hair, it's so creepy and weird. Like my dad did that when I was younger, and I was so scared of him. And the first time my husband did that, no, I'm like, you gotta grow your facial hair back. I can't.
Yeah, I used to have a full beard just as long as my goatee is right now.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I shaved it all off one time when my kids were really young and
They
it
were
freaked them
scared,
all
weren't
out.
they? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's like a totally different guy. You're like, whoa,
Yeah.
hold on, no, thank you.
Yeah, the beard has a personality of its own.
Definitely, absolutely. Well, let's get into these. Like I said, some may be fun. Most of them will be fun, but there may be some serious, but we can answer them however we want. We can be just goofy and silly. It's just a fun episode to lighten up and kind of show people different perspectives on some different topics and how we both feel about it. So
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
awesome. Let's get the first one going here. Would you rather be respected or liked? That's an interesting one. Um, Respected for sure. I don't care if people like me, but I'd want people to respect who I am and what I'm doing with my life. How do you feel about that?
Respect is important.
Yeah.
And like you said, I don't care if people like me or not.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
how I am. And I'm definitely in that age and that part of my life where like, fuck you, I don't care.
right. Well, you got to treat everybody with respect.
For sure. Respect is definitely the most important thing out of that one. That's a pretty easy one.
Nice start.
Yeah. Let's see what we get. That's what's funny. This, aw, is almost our chili one. What's your toxic trait? Be honest. You can go first if you'd like.
My toxic trait,
Yeah.
I would probably I don't know. I will put up with a lot before I don't put up with it anymore, and then I
Yeah,
just snap. I
I
guess
get
maybe
that.
that's my toxic trait.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I'm a Pisces, and that's how we are. We like build it up, and then like we're really good, nice, honest people. But if you get us to that point, then yeah. My
Hmm.
toxic trait, I worry too much. I've always been that way. I'm always checking out the people I care about like almost too much, and I'm one of those people that says sorry like for everything. Like I've had people in my career tell me to stop saying sorry. People in my life, I'm just that person. So I say that is my
Mhm.
toxic trait. So because that can be annoying. So
Yeah, yeah.
goes back to that self doubt and self esteem and all of that fun stuff we deal with.
I suffer from a lot of that too.
Yeah, I know we kind of understand each other on that.
Right.
What is the most important thing you have learned about yourself so far this year? I love this question. My friend Ambika sent this in. She's the one that asked about your beard as well.
Oh, okay.
And I will be releasing her episode this week. So,
Nice.
I
I'll
think
let her
the
know it's
most,
all natural.
yeah, yeah, there you go. She'll watch it, I'm sure. So, Um, honestly, the most important thing I've learned about myself this year, and I'm actually in a really interesting point in my life right now. I've been making big decisions for myself, putting myself first, kind of making scary moves in life without 100% having plans, but it's the best thing for my mental health and well-being, and I feel 100 times better myself.
Right.
So I think it's just I've learned that I can put myself first. I can be proud of myself. I can be excited for what I'm doing and be confident. I didn't really have that, but doing this podcast has really brought a different side of me out, and I really am my true authentic self, take it or leave it, and I'm happy I'm leaning into who that woman is, so,
Right on.
yeah. How about you?
Most important thing I learned about myself this year, resilience is a double-edged sword,
Mm,
I guess.
yeah.
We've talked about this with long COVID when I was
Mhm.
going through all of that. When I first got sick, they told me come in if I got worse. I come in because I got worse, and they were like,
Mhm.
um, "Okay, well you got pneumonia, so we're gonna send you home, but come in if you get worse." It's like, okay. It was like, at that point, I'm like, I don't know how worse I gotta be, so I waited until I was almost dead to go back.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know. It turns out that the more resilient I am, the more damage I do to myself,
Mm,
which is
yeah.
kind of weird. Like I'm surviving, but I'm hurting myself in the process.
I get that. Yeah. I could definitely see that, and that makes a lot of sense. Definitely. Let's see what we get now. Should life skills be taught in school instead of traditional subjects? Yes, I think so. I think there could be a lot more life skills. I know when I was in school, we still had it. I grew up in a rural area, so we still had home ec and all those things and learned to cook and clean and do all that kind of things, but I know they don't really do that in school anymore. And it's important to be book smart and know how to do certain things to excel in careers and your life as an adult, but also we need
Mhm.
more fundamental things for sure.
I thought they taught those things in school still.
I'm not sure all schools do. I know my nieces, they don't have it in Vermilion, think they don't do it, and, I've seen of a couple other schools that don't really do that, so I know a lot of other schools, like New London, we have an alternative school, I think it's called, like, LifeWise, where they're
Mhm.
more, like, taught out of the Bible and do more things like that, but I think in school themselves, a lot of the traditional subjects have been taken away, so
I think there's a lot of stuff that parents should teach their kids as opposed to the school.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And I think life skills is a big part of that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's unimportant for the schools to teach some things,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
you know, not all kids have a two-parent home, so they can't learn
Mhm.
everything they need to learn.
Right.
So
That's
I guess
true.
maybe it should be electives, you know?
Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah, and as you said, it's more important, like, in the real world, learning it or learn what your specific situation is too, not everybody has 2 parents or a big income or a big fancy house, a lot of us are poor, and things
Yeah.
have to go a little bit different than normal people, so I understand that,
Right.
definitely. Which I am actually my cousin, she lives in Alabama right now. Excuse me if I'm wrong, but her husband's in the military, so they move all over the place. They have 6
Mhm.
kids, and she just went to homeschooling and kind of parents alternatively than a lot of people like, and she's gonna come on and talk about it this week, so that should be interesting take, so.
Right on.
Is it okay to quit something you once loved? Do you wanna, answer this question first?
Is it okay to quit something you once loved?
Yes, like a
Um,
hobby or a career or anything like that.
well,
A relationship.
as as somebody with a bunch of different hobbies, I'm often quitting hobbies very quickly
Yeah,
after I start them, but then I
yeah,
circle back to them. But with something that you love, I don't know.
yeah.
I had to quit riding bikes as much as I used to because of some health issues,
Mhm.
and sometimes you just have to. So I mean, it's
Yeah,
okay. I don't
yeah.
know why it wouldn't be okay. Sometimes you just have to.
Yeah, that's a good point. And a lot of it is like physically, things our body can't let us do anymore. It's definitely okay. And of course it's okay. I had like a 30+ year friendship from the time we were in like first grade until late 30s, and I chose to end that relationship. She's something I once loved, but it was okay to quit that because I outgrew that. There's so many different ways
Mhm.
that you can take this question, but it's absolutely okay. And I'm like you, I start little hobbies and like I do resin art, but where I live right now, we don't really have a good ventilation space for it, so I can't really do it. I want to go back to it. I love it, but I have to have the right setup for it. And but this podcast is something that I've actually stuck with, so that's something I'm proud of myself for that. So
Well, that's kind of like me with lavender. I've been
yeah.
sticking with that. You know?
Yeah. That's what I always found too, I think what we're truly passionate about or what we really are meant to do, like we really do commit to those things and both of us are doing that, so that's awesome.
Yeah, wait until you're older in life to figure it out, though.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Wish I would have known about coding when I was in my teens and
Yeah.
20s. You know,
I know, what is it? You go think back and oh my gosh, that the money those guys make too. You could make good money doing that, so
really good money. Yeah.
absolutely. Do we expect too much from relationships today? Um, I don't know. I'm not single. I've been in a relationship for 15 years. Of course, there's ups and downs with that. Marriage is not easy. Life is not easy. You have to grow. It's true in your vows or, sickness and health, the ups and the downs. There's a lot to it. I don't think we expect too much. I think there's a lot more talk about relationships. So with like podcasts and talk shows and social media nowadays and stuff, sometimes too much. I don't like to get other people involved in my relationship. That's something that I like to, keep friends and family out. I don't go to people for advice on that kind of stuff. So but I do think there's some narratives out there that I don't agree with, like, people that have had nasty relationships and stuff like that are always putting down real relationships, like they can't be true and stuff. That bothers me sometimes. I think that's out there a lot that people are like, "There could never be true love," and stuff like that, but I know it's different for everybody, so
I think it's important to just have like a mutual understanding of what the relationship is about.
yeah,
And
for sure.
beyond that, I guess the expectations depends on that mutual understanding.
Yeah, it's your individual relationship. It's what you guys agree. I had a husband and wife come on, Margaret and Byron. They've been together for 28 years, and they've shared all that. And they have a podcast on relationships, and it's called Beyond I Do, and that's everybody comes on, and that's what I always show. It's you as a unit. You're one now. You have to think of each other. You have to decide what your life is together without the outside factors.
And you don't see a lot of people with relationships lasting that long anymore.
No, no, and it's really neat to see that, and I love that, and that's why I wanted to have them married because even in my 15 years, like people that I know got married and divorced by now a couple of times, or you know what I mean? Like it's
I'm on
not
my
that
second
common.
divorce.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people our age are, on their second or third divorce or never have gotten married and things like that. So it is hard, and I know there's so many things, and I'm also proud of people for, leaving those relationships that weren't healthy for them and stuff, but is there something
Mhm.
to say about seeing people be together that long? So,
Yeah, I'll probably never be in another relationship.
no,
It's too much
not
work
your
anymore.
thing. Yeah.
No, at this age, I just the effort to trying again is.
Yeah. I think to
We'll
each their own.
see what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah, I know. I kinda get sad sometimes my parents, neither of them really are in relationships, and I get, like, sad for them sometimes just to not have that person, but also I could see being on your own, being independent, doing whatever you wanted to do, and not have to worry about somebody else, so
Right. Well, then I don't have to worry about pissing them off if I want to do something.
Right, yeah. That's another thing. Some people are too I could go on forever about that, about leashes and boundaries, let your person still have their own life, so I think that's something that's
Respect
helped
is
me and my
everything.
husband. Yeah, we respect each other, we trust each other, we're both allowed to have friends, we both are allowed to have hobbies outside of each other, it's just natural, so.
Mhm.
You can only cope with stress using one thing forever: music, food, or sarcasm. What are you picking? I'll let you answer first.
I only have to pick one.
Whatever you
Okay.
wanna use, our combination.
Let's see. Oh, using one thing forever, man, that hurts my feelings because I feel like all of those things should be very important.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Choosing one, probably music.
Yeah, I think that's my answer too. I don't think I could
M-
survive without music, so I'm a
Music is
foodie.
everything.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm a plus size girl. I like food. I like to eat. I like to cook. But music, I think, is like You need music for sure.
Actually, this I don't know if you can see it.
Oh,
I can't see myself though.
yeah.
Can you
I
see
can
my
see
shirt
most
here?
of it. Yeah. Nice. I like
Yeah,
it.
it says "Ruin in the name of,"
That's awesome. I
and
love
then
it.
on the back it says "Fuck you, I won't grill what you tell me."
Oh my God, I love that. Oh my God. Me and my family, me and you kind of had this conversation too. I was talking about food, but I've always been a cook in my family. My dad is a cook and my brother, and we like to smoke meats together and make combinations and stuff. So that's awesome. We would love that shirt. So,
I'm actually slow cooking a turkey right now.
oh, nice. That sounds good.
Yeah,
I miss my smoker. It's at my mom's house in Norwalk. It needs a new something died in it. We tried to fix it, but
something died in it.
yeah, something died in it. We
Dang,
fried
that's
it or
terrible.
something. Yeah. But I miss it. I love smoking the meats and stuff like that. So, ugh. And then we
I
had
just
yeah,
I
go
do it
ahead.
on a Weber grills,
Oh, nice.
the kettle grills,
Yeah. We
charcoal.
had
That's how I do
yeah. We had a pellet one. That you
it.
could use the wood chips and stuff. So, and then we had a nice for a while. I was like, my mom used to laugh and say, "Everyone in Norwalk's gonna come thinking you're a food truck or something," because I would be out there and have the smoker and then our Blackstone right next to it, and like frying up quesadillas and stuff like that. And you could just smell it in the neighborhood. She's like, "It's gonna be like Mel's food truck out here." So
I've been telling people that if my lavender project happens to fail, that my backup plan is to open up a food truck.
nice. There you go. That's awesome. I
And
love to cook, and I know we've shared that that's one of both of our love languages to cook for our people. So I think it's
yeah,
fun to
a good
cook.
time.
That's another therapy thing too, for sure.
Hmm.
Okay, this is a random question. If raccoons broke into your house, what's the first thing you're sacrificing? Definitely not my cats. I would fight for my cats, and I think they would protect me. My husband just walked in, he said him. I don't know if I would sacrifice you.
Human shield.
Yeah, use him as a shield. Cheese. We always have a whole bunch of cheese. I'll let him have my cheese. Or cat food or something. What do you think on
Grew
that
up
one? That's
around
a funny
raccoons.
question.
We used to raise raccoons, so we
Yeah.
wouldn't sacrifice nothing. They'd just become part of the family.
Right, yeah.
Like,
I
hello,
grew up with
Steve.
that too. I actually I lived in Kentucky when I was like 5 or 4 or 5 for a year, and our neighbors, they had a pet raccoon,
Mhm.
and the grandma, she was this cute Southern old lady that was deaf and she couldn't speak or anything, but that pet raccoon just like lived on her shoulder. She was like Meemaw or whatever from the Beverly Hillbillies. That was her, and she
My
would come
brother's
over.
got one right now.
Yeah. But the raccoon would break in and he loved cigarettes. He would always break in and try to steal my parents' cigarettes and stuff like that. So
Got a nicotine addiction.
yeah, he had a nicotine addiction. So she'd come over though, she didn't speak and chase him with a broom like, ah, like it was chaos. So it was one of my first memories. I started remembering a lot when we lived down there. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have to sacrifice nothing. They wouldn't stay in here very long. My dog wouldn't put up with it. I got a
Right.
red
Yeah.
pit bull, so
Oh, yeah.
we would be
No.
very friendly with him.
Right. Yeah. I would probably try to make it my pet. We've saved baby raccoons and stuff over the years too. My dad climbed a tree in like 100-degree weather to save babies because they're screaming and stuff.
Okay.
But they were past the point where we could be domesticate them. So I think we found a rescue to come get them, and because we waited to see if the
Yeah.
mom came, but she never came back around. So
Yeah, you got to get them younger. You're wow, lost
yeah,
cause.
yeah, yeah. He put his like welding gloves on and climbed up there to get them because they were trying to eat him, of course. But we put him in like a
Right.
trap. Yeah.
So you
Would you
start seeing,
rather? Yeah.
they're like, hey, that's what's up.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. I grew up in Clarksfield area, and there's
Yeah.
always animals out there. And
Hmm.
we had left our garage open, for like a mama cat to eat and stuff like that. Okay. Well, you throw your garbage away. You open the garage door to throw our garbage away, like from in our house. There was a
Yeah.
mama raccoon right there one time when we like opened the door. She took over the garage and had a whole family in there and stuff. So we kind of took care of them. So,
Right on.
would you rather have your thoughts narrated out loud or your search history read at Thanksgiving? Well, that's interesting. Um,
That's an easy answer for me.
you can answer.
My search history.
Yeah. I think I would go with that one too. I don't care what people know I'm searching, but read everything out loud, that might be crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody wants to hear my thoughts. So it's a dark place
Yeah,
inside my brain.
I get it. Yeah. I think none of us, I think a lot of people would not pick that first one. I think a lot of us aren't embarrassed about we're certain that's who we are. I think our families know who we are, so.
Round and round we go.
Yes. Excuse me, my allergies driving me nuts today. Is burnout something you push through or a sign to stop? Both. I think you can push through burnout for a long time and then burnout, and then it's really bad. Sometimes we recognize the burnout and know it's the time to stop. So I think it can be either or. So
Um, I don't know how to stop.
yeah,
I just go right through the burnout.
yeah. A lot of
I
us
hit
don't have
different
that option. Yeah,
yeah, I hit different levels of burnout.
yeah.
Like
There
I
are
get
different
burned out for
levels.
being burned out, and then I push through that.
Yeah, I get it. I've been through a lot of different things like that and pushed through a lot myself. And I had Karen on here. She has addiction and stuff too, and that's we talked about like rock bottoms and burnouts. You don't always just have one, and you go through different types of ones, and so
Yeah, definitely different kinds of burns out.
for sure, definitely. There's good burnout kind of too. Like I got burnout with this for a while when I first started. Not burnout, but overwhelmed because I was getting people and stuff like that. So, but it was a good
Hmm.
thing. It was a good type, but I still had to make some boundaries and stuff. So,
Yeah, I have to get up and walk away from the computer sometimes because it'll piss me off.
yeah,
Like
definitely.
change one little thing, one little line of code, and then it breaks the whole system. And then I had to spend like 2 days trying to figure out what I screwed up.
Yeah, no, thank you. Like I said, in my previous job, I did like QA testing and stuff and worked with the developers and stuff. So I didn't do code, but I saw it a lot of times and stuff. And yeah, it's so complicated.
It's
So, or
wild to
back in
look
the
at.
day on MySpace, we all coded our pages and stuff. So,
Yep, I remember those days.
yeah. I mentioned this on another episode. I was in a chat room back in the day and I was called like Queen of Darkness or something. And it was
Mm,
all hackers. That's all my friends. They were all like teaching me stuff. I was like 13 or 14 years old. So,
okay.
what artist would you drop everything to see live today? I'm gonna say it can be past, present. They can be passed on as well. Maybe anybody. Do you have an answer for this one?
What would I? What artist would I drop everything to see live today? What
Yeah, and they could
artist?
have passed away. It doesn't have to be somebody that's no longer living.
I don't know. I've seen so many. I've been to so many concerts.
Yeah, I know
Um,
this is a hard one for me too.
I would have loved to have been able to see Ozzy.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I never saw Ozzy either. Um, well, oh, I kind of have one. So I'm a huge Soundgarden fan, huge Chris Cornell
Mm,
fan.
yeah,
I was going to Sonic Temple 2017 to see them. 2 days before is when he passed away. So I woke up
I
on the
figure
day
enough.
that I was going to Columbus and found out he died. So,
That's
like, I was that close to finally seeing him for the first time in my life. So that was I'm still devastated about that. That broke my heart, and it still breaks my heart, and it was hard, but it was really cool too in a way because the band's all dedicated songs to him and stuff like that. So it was really
yeah,
emotional for everybody, and everybody kinda came together. I know there's this moment, Alter Bridge, they played Blackbird and like the sky just like opened up and the sunbeams were like coming out and it was like lightly raining and they had
right
dedicated
on.
that to him. So like just one of those concert moments. I'm sure you understand that. Like that's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
type of therapy in its own way. So
I've I've been to some cool shows. There's actually two different artists that I've seen live just a few months before they died.
yeah.
Oh Dirty Bastard. I
Oh
seen
nice.
him
I love him.
just a
Yeah.
few months before he passed away, and then also Ween Static. I seen him a
Oh.
few months before he passed away.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's the only two artists that I've seen that passed away like soon
Yeah.
after.
I don't know if I have seen anybody that's passed away. I've seen a random variety of people too, but yeah, I know. So definitely, I
Uh,
think
I,
being
I
able
got
to
to
go
see
back and
Nothing
see.
Faced before their singer passed away, but that
Oh,
he
nice.
didn't pass away until years after. So
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that I Chris Cornell definitely. I wish I could see him. I was so close.
I would have liked to have seen him.
Yeah, I love Soundgarden and his own private work as well.
Yeah,
Windows down or AC on a road trip? Well, you're a trucker, so you can answer this question first.
got the windows down almost all the time.
Yeah. That's how
The
I am
radio's all
too.
the way up and the window's
Mm,
down, and
yeah,
that's
I don't
why I can't hardly hear.
yeah. I always like amazes me, especially on like 60, 70-degree days. Like if I'm out running errands and people have their windows up, like, what is wrong with you? Like I would much
Right?
rather have my window down, the fresh air. And I'm even allergic to grass and like my doctor has told me I shouldn't put my windows down and stuff like that. But like I have the AC on. I will only do it if it's literally like deadly hot outside or like if you're driving on like a highway or something and it's super loud. But
Well, what's funny is when I have my window down, my beard gets sucked out the window, so it's, like,
yeah,
hanging out the
that's
window.
funny. Yeah.
I've had a lot of people drive by me just laughing because they
I
see my
bet.
beard out the window.
Yeah. I have naturally curly hair. My hair turns into like a giant afro sometimes, and I just kind of it just
Let it
flows
do its
around.
thing,
So yeah, so I get that.
like the
Yeah,
inflatable whale in Our Man.
yeah, definitely. I love those guys. That's funny. Yeah, windows down for sure.
Absolutely.
What is one thing you wish you knew as a teenager? That I was cool being who I was, and that I should have kind of leaned into that more. I always kind of let my friends change who I was, and I was never truly myself until kind of the last couple of years. So I think that's what I would change. I'd be more my authentic self. So
The only thing I wish I would have known was how the Navy was gonna treat me when I
mm,
got my
yeah,
injury, yeah, because
yeah,
they did me pretty dirty.
yeah,
They made me think that I was in big trouble for breaking my back, and it's like, I didn't know there was anything wrong with my back, like, why are you guys mad at me?
yeah, yeah. That's messed up. And I don't know if I mentioned this when we talked about that or not, but my dad was in the Navy. Um, and he was at like the Navy base in Chicago, whatever. That's how my parents met.
Mhm,
And he was having knee pain and stuff like that, and come to find out he has no cartilage in his knees. So they did surgery on him, and then yeah, it's basically the same thing. It's all his fault. He shouldn't have been in the Navy, and basically like
yeah.
dishonorably discharged him with like nothing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
them bastards. And then they
yeah,
put
so
me on them. Like, when I hurt my back, I thought I pulled a muscle. Like, that's what it
yeah,
felt like.
right,
And, it's not that bad of a pain, a pulled muscle,
yeah,
nothing
yeah,
serious. And they
mhm.
were like, "Oh, you broke your spine. We're putting you on Oxy 80s." And I'm like,
Oh yeah, that's what started.
"Okay."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the most powerful ones. Yeah,
Yeah, high out of my goddamn mind. And then they start telling me that I'm, like, in trouble. It's like, "Oh, no. I'm fucking high and
yeah.
I'm in trouble."
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, they create a monster with that. That is messed up. They had to go through all that, so
Yeah, fuckers.
yeah. Definitely. Yeah, I've heard more bad story not saying putting the military down, a lot of people I know, a lot have had bad experiences versus good experiences, and, like, my younger brother, he was, like, certified genius, like, wanted him to skip grades and everything like that, and he moved away to Florida when he was in his early teens and then came back, and our school wouldn't let him re-enroll, so he ended up homeschooling online
Uh,
and stuff, but he couldn't join any branches of the military after that. They wouldn't take his GED or the branches that
really?
he wanted to go for, so yeah. I've known
That's
other people,
unfortunate.
things like that, like having court fines and trying to have a better life, they won't accept them or anything like that, so
It's crazy how hard it is for people that wanna serve that can't
yeah,
serve, and
exactly. Yeah, then they're turned
then you
away
got a
from
lot of
it and
people that
treated like that, yeah.
I think, everybody in the country should at least do 1 tour of duty. I
Yeah.
think it would change the way people act and behave in public.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you learn a lot, and
Yeah, there'd be learn a lot of,
respect is a big
survival
one.
skills and important things about life and what's important in life, so
Yeah,
yeah,
you have a different respect for the people that are serving, though. You got a lot of people that
absolutely.
never served, and they look down on the servicemen. It's like, you don't know
Yeah.
what those people are going through. Like,
No. Oh
they're
gosh,
living
no.
below poverty levels, just
Yeah.
out there putting their life on the line, and people wanna treat
Yeah.
them like shit.
Yeah. That's something that I've talked about on here and really touches me is, all the homeless vets and all the things they go through and all of that. It's so sad. This world is so horrible when it comes to that. So it's definitely
Yeah.
something that I've talked about and like having Mary on here from We Are the Taylor Foundation and stuff. Like it's
Mhm.
so important to bring all that to light. So
I
all
agree.
right. Is ghosting ever acceptable? Yes,
Mhm.
I believe so. I think I've done this in my own life, but it's after I've tried multiple times to get my point across, or if it's a friend or something and they never change or never listen, then I'm okay with just ghosting, deleting, blocking. I've done it when I've left jobs and stuff like that, past coworkers that I kind of didn't really want to have a relationship with. Delete, block, I don't care. Like sometimes you just gotta ghost. So
Yeah. It's a
yeah,
defense mechanism.
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Some people do it because they're shitty. Some people do it because it's the only way they could protect their own peace.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how I've always been. It's not a malicious thing. It's for my own protection. Like I had mentioned that past friend or whatever, I eventually had to delete and block her so I didn't see
Hmm.
stuff from her anymore.
Yeah.
So
I've had to do that to a few people.
yeah. Even family members, and it's okay to block the people out of your life just because they're blood doesn't mean you need to keep them in your life. We need to have people that support us, love us, and show up for us.
Hmm. Hell, the Insane Clown Posse says something like that. They say just because they're blood doesn't mean you have to love.
Yeah, that's true. Back to ICP again.
Yep.
Should you
Modern
follow
day
your
prophet.
right? Yeah, I know. I mean, honestly, half the people that we listen to and grew up with, I listen to their Wu-Tang Clan, all those people, all their words, how they say things, even Soundgarden or Creed. Like I'm not ashamed to be a Creed fan, and I love My Own Prison, and the songs in that album relate to how the world is today and stuff. So,
Right.
should you follow your passion or your paycheck? Well, this one kind of is hitting right on the nail for me right now. I did choose to walk away from my career. It wasn't taken lightly. It wasn't something I just did randomly one day. I had been trying to leave for over a year and a half without finding anything else, and it just was becoming way too hard for me to even show up every day. It was making me a miserable person. I wasn't able to do other things outside of work. I was so drained, and I just felt sick going every day. I was not passionate about it, and honestly, it
Mm.
wasn't bringing in a lot. I was very undervalued for what I did, and that became hard too to keep dealing with that. So I did
Right.
choose to walk away, and it's not something everyone can do, and it's not something. I mean, my life isn't perfect, but I'm going to make it work. But I feel 100 times better. I'm
That's
working on
good.
things that I can make money in other ways, and I am lucky that I have a partner that has a good career and stuff like that too. That I can take some time and focus more on myself. And I wish that was more accepted in society. If you have job gaps, there's always such look down on that. But we all need those reset moments. We're human. Humanity really wasn't put on earth to live a paycheck to paycheck life every single day. So like there's parts of
Right.
us that need to reconnect with nature, reconnect with who we are. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm trying to find ways to make money off of my passions. I've never really done that. So of course I will go back to work. Even if I could do a couple of part-time jobs and have these passion projects on the side, like I started getting a certificate for force therapy kind of for forest bathing and journaling, and I can take people on little adventures in the forest and collect donations like that and do classes and stuff. So just
Sounds
different
like
things
it'd
I
be
can.
fun.
Yeah, I think that'd be relaxing, and it's something I've always been drawn to. So why not try to make money off of it too? So
Yeah, I think having responsibilities kind of changes how you have to look at all that though. Like with me, I
yeah,
have children and I have to
yeah,
pay
that's
child
true.
support, so
Yeah,
I
you
have
can't
to
have
follow
that
the paycheck.
luxury. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So like right now, my passion is working on lavender, but I
Yeah,
gotta follow the paycheck too. So
yeah, and I get
right now
that.
I'm working basically two jobs. I'm working full time as a truck driver, and then I come home and then I code until I go
Yeah,
to bed. Pretty much,
right.
I don't leave a
Yeah,
lot of time for me to do anything fun, but you
yeah,
know, I'm pretty passionate about lavender, so that
yeah.
keeps me going.
Yeah, that's awesome. And hopefully someday it can be something that can be fruitful for you and you can make that choice and be able to do something you're more passionate about.
Yeah, hopefully.
And yeah, and I've also been there, and that's why I was with my company for so long. There's definitely been many moments in my life where I had no options. I had to
Hmm.
get that money and bring that paycheck in. So, and I did get some of my 401k and stuff like that. So I'm not completely, I didn't, like I said, it was something I really thought about for a long time. So, and kind of planned for. So,
Sometimes you got to. I know I don't want to
yeah.
be a truck driver anymore.
Right. Yeah, I
20
bet.
years is a long time.
That is for sure. This would be, is it okay to cut someone off without explaining yourself? Yeah, absolutely. Especially kind of goes back to what we've already talked about, if they're making you uncomfortable or, they don't see eye to eye with you and it's so uncomfortable to be around that person or they're disrespecting you, then I think so, absolutely. So,
I do it on accident.
yeah.
'Cause I think a lot of time I feel bad about it too. Immediately, like, and I've done it to you a couple times. I don't like I like I don't know. I think it's because of my brain, the way my brain
Oh,
works.
I get it. I'm like that too. Yeah.
You gotta get the thought out, you know? Like, a
Yeah.
lot is gonna burn my brain if I don't tell you what I have to say right now.
Right. I'm bad about that, and that's something I've been working on, especially with my podcast. I've always been like that, like just back and forth. I think it is just our brains. Like you have to get it out, or you're just excited and you're just relating. So
And
for
my
sure.
problem is I can't speak nearly as fast as I think.
Right. I get that. And that's why I'm always tripping over my words and talking too fast. I try to
Mhm.
do that. I'm talking fast today. All right, let's see what we get now. Oh, here you go. You sent this one in. You spent all day smoking the perfect pig, and someone drowns theirs in cold ketchup before tasting it. What are you doing? I'll let you answer first since you submitted.
I'm gonna put them on blast. I,
Yeah,
I I see it all the time. People like my kids don't do it anymore. They used to. We
yeah,
throw ketchup or some kind of barbecue sauce or something on the food, and it's like, hey, taste it first.
right,
Then
yeah,
you can decide whether or not you need to put something on there.
yeah. I get that.
Same thing with like steak too. Yeah, I love cooking steak, and I season it really well before I put it on people's plates. And when your first instinct is to go and start drowning it in bullshit ketchup.
Yeah, that's funny. No, I agree with you on that one. You gotta
I take
taste
offense
it
to
how
it.
you made it. Yeah, for sure. Like there's an art in our cooking and how we season it and the things that we use. And I am a big sauce person, but I do understand. Like try it first, make sure.
Hmm.
And I always taste as I'm cooking, of course, too. But try it without something on it. And it's funny ketchup specifically because when I was a kid, I was one of those kids that drowned everything with ketchup. Like I ate
Hmm.
my mac and cheese with ketchup, like everything.
Oh,
So yeah.
awful,
It
awful.
grosses me out now thinking of it as an adult. I will put barbecue sauce on my mac and cheese, but ketchup, but yeah, no, I feel the same way. And it's an artwork for us. And like we said, a love language to cook for people. So,
Hmm.
and I'm big on that. I hate when I see like certain cultures and stuff like that only cook bland and don't use seasonings and stuff like that. Like, come look at my spice cabinet and how me and my
Hmm.
family cook. Like, we definitely use seasonings and stuff. So,
But when you look at like some of those fancy restaurants, they don't offer ketchup or mustard or
right.
anything like
Yeah.
that.
It's not made
If
to
they
go
have
with
any kind
it.
of sauce,
Yeah.
it's on the plate.
Yeah. For
There's a
sure.
reason for that.
Yeah. Scary movies or comedies?
Yes.
Yes, that's how I feel. I watch all genres. We talked about music before, all music genres, pretty much all movies too. Like I love all the franchise scary movies we grew up with and even off the wall ones and I don't mind gory movies. Some what is it? Hostel. I don't like the Hostels for some reason, but I can watch
Mm.
any other movies like that, like all the Saws and all of those. And but comedies, sometimes you need a good comedy, and I like the stupid, silly ones like Super Bad and like Super Troopers and all those goofy ones. So
I like the ones that are a combination of both. Like I,
yeah,
I
those
grew
are
up
fun
watching
too.
like Child's Play,
Oh yeah, for
you
sure.
know, and then you got
Yeah.
like the more recent like Terrifier movies.
Oh, I love the Terrifier movies. Yeah.
I went
Yeah.
and seen it was a Terrifier 3, I think, in
Hmm.
theaters, and
Yeah.
that was I went on Christmas Day to watch it, and I actually
That's
watched
funny.
people get up and leave in the
Oh my
middle
god.
of watching it. People
Yeah.
were like
Those are
getting
some
sick.
brutal movies. Yeah.
Gotta
They
love it.
definitely have a lot of gore, but yeah, I love those for some reason. I really love those movies.
Hmm.
I was always into like Friday the 13th were my like franchise movie back in the day, and then Screams. Just like the nostalgia that I always love Scream and like the Final Destinations. But I watch some of the crazy or like all the Rob Zombie horror movies. Those are always really
Hmm.
good and stuff. So
Yeah, I'm real big in shock value. Like, if it's like the kind of thing that makes people have a negative reaction, it makes me chuckle. So,
right, I laugh a lot of times too. Like I'm always laughing and like when somebody's getting murdered and stuff. Like
right.
oh man. Or the way they did it, like it's just corny sometimes. So
Yeah,
that's a
there was one scene
terrifier.
in
Sometimes you
particular.
laugh about some of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
there was one scene in particular about in Terrifier 3 there where it they it's it's referred to as the glasturbation scene.
oh gosh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely it's awful, but it's so
Yeah.
funny. When people
Yeah. Oh,
react to it, it's
yeah. Those movies are off the chain for sure. All right, let's see here. Would you rather have stability or excitement? Um, I think it goes back with our question about the paychecks and passion. You kind of have a little bit of both. You have to be able to live a
Mhm,
life that you want to do, but you have to sprinkle excitement in there. I think so. A lot of things people lack, just work, 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 work. Which I understand you have to, but you also need to take time for yourself and do stuff and have hobbies. And even if it's just like throwing something on the smoker or something like that, something that is
mhm.
not just work. So
Stability is important,
yeah,
especially when you got responsibilities, but
for sure.
having a
Yeah,
balance is important too.
yeah, absolutely.
Without excitement, life is boring, and what's the point then?
Yeah, that's how I look at it, like, why I mean, we all have our struggles, and sometimes it's endless struggles and thing after thing, but you have to, like there's gotta be a reason for all that, so you gotta throw some positive, things in there and fun things in there, so
Mhm.
what is your take on AI, positives and negatives? I'll let you answer this one first, I think you suggested this topic.
Um, I think I suggested a slightly different take on it though.
Well, you
Mine
can
was
put it
like,
however you could yeah.
um, with my take on AI, positives and negatives. Okay. So I look at it like it's just a tool, you
Mhm,
know? Um, when you look at like human history and the way we've evolved with tools and everything, we took a basic rock and added a stick to it and turned it into a hammer.
mhm,
Um, use a hammer to build other tools, and those tools are used to build other tools, and then those tools created AI, and
yeah,
now we can use AI to create things. And
yeah,
I think a lot of people are scared of what AI can do. I think
mhm,
a lot of people are afraid it's going to take their jobs, and I think some jobs have already suffered from it, but mostly the creative stuff, which is interesting. A lot
yeah,
of people are afraid that AI is going to take over the music industry.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
see that. See it
yeah,
happening.
no,
I know that people are using it for uh like YouTube and things like that, but
mhm,
that's not the real
no.
music. AI can't go on tour,
Yeah.
you
No,
know?
no, yeah. I did see a story about that. It was a woman that did that. All her songs were AI produced, and then she was going on these talk shows and stuff, and that's who she really was. But yeah, that's not the same person, so you're still not going to see the real person. So yeah,
Right.
I agree. There's a lot of positives with AI, like the career I just left, like, we were encouraged to use AI. We used it to, like, make ourselves more professional, just clean things up. They used it with coding, like, we were able to get more features out there faster and more
Mhm.
more precise and, the correct way and find little bugs that we didn't even know about, and, like, with my podcasting, I use it. I definitely would not be where I am now without it, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I use it for a lot of things, it's helped me. It's helped me have confidence, and it's still me, it's just my thoughts, and they help me organize it more and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and I couldn't have, like, the backgrounds I use and stuff like that. I live in a little 500 square foot apartment, I don't really have a podcast space, so it's nice that I can use that, and even with editing, I use Riverside for editing, and it helps me create all my little clips and everything, so it would take
Mhm.
so much more out of me, more time and effort and money if I had to do it all myself, and, like, it helps us all grow, and we're living in a day and age where we kinda have to use it to keep up with all the other people that are using it. If you don't, you're gonna fall behind in whatever subject you're passionate about or your work or things like that, so
Yeah, and it's also giving people opportunities to do things that they would otherwise not be able to do.
absolutely, for sure, for sure. Yeah, like I said, I don't think I'd be doing this podcast if I didn't have the help of AI, especially when I got started. I started to trickle away from using it as much, and I'm being more me, but it's helped me build my confidence. Like, I've always
Right.
had questions for all our episodes, and at first I read them. Now I just kind of use them as a guide and like keep me on track. So like it's helped me grow as well too. So
Right. Yeah, one thing I wish we could just get away from though is using AI to answer phone calls.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Go make a phone call to to anywhere, and you have to talk to an AI, and it's just like, I want to talk to a person. It's like, well, why don't you tell me what your problem is before we
Yeah.
let you talk to a person? Like, no, I want to talk to a person now.
Yeah. That part is frustrating, and I was in customer service, and that's something our company was not gonna use AI for, is we real people still answering the phone, still answering the chats and emails and stuff like that, and we would get that comment all the time, like, "I'm so glad you're a real person. I'm so tired of talking to these AI people," or even myself calling places, and I'm in customer service, like, I'm the one yelling, like, "Representative, representative," like, "I don't wanna talk to you," like, "Help me, I want a real person." So,
Yeah. The struggle
yeah,
is real.
yeah. And
It's a
I,
good rant on AI in the wrong place.
right. And I am very into environment and stuff like that. And I do feel guilty when it comes like the data centers, and I don't want to see those kind of take over our countrysides and everything. But I mean, it's just part of the world changing and growing too, and stuff's changing. Our environment's been changing for years for factories and different things. So,
Well, people, the way people are looking at these data centers, I think, is a little bit doomsday-ish, if you will. You know,
yeah.
they think it's going to be the end of our farmlands and all that. One data center in one town isn't going to change a whole hell of a lot. I mean, it is a little, but
Hmm.
you know, it's not like they're going to try to put 1,000 data centers in Ohio, for example. You know, it's
Right. Yeah.
a little excessive, but
Yeah.
uh, the people that complain about the data centers are complaining about it on the technology that needs those data centers. So it's kind of
Yeah.
funny. Like,
Yeah. That's
if
true.
you don't want them, stop using the technology.
That's true. That's true. You don't look at that side of it. You're still using it yourself just to get on there and complain about it. So,
Exactly. Like, we
yeah.
need them. Like, where are they going to
Yeah.
go? We're going to put them.
Right.
You can't put them in the middle of the desert because we.
Right. You're right. Oh, here we go. So we're gonna answer a question that didn't pop up but goes with this first. And then we'll answer this, and then we'll probably wrap up after that. This has been fun, but this is a good spot that started on because it kind of started where our question started with this off camera. We were talking about chili and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So um, the question is cornbread or crackers, but I want to lead with we have different views on what chili is.
Hmm.
So the question is no beans in your chili, and you can go first.
And my chili is traditional, which is chili, chili
Yeah,
peppers. You know, that's how. If you look at the history of chili, it wasn't beans and it wasn't tomatoes. It was just dehydrated meat cooked with
yeah,
chili peppers. You know,
yeah,
a little bit of water, and it
yeah,
would make meat so they could eat it a little easier because eating jerky all the time gets a little old.
yeah,
But yeah, when I cook my chili, there's not a single bean that goes near it.
yeah. Now, do you like cornbread or crackers with your chili?
Uh, I like both, but cornbread is the best.
Yeah.
Cornbread wins every time,
Right.
for sure.
We're we're definitely cornbread. We always use cornbread. I just don't know any different without beans. That's how I've always grown up, and that's what my family's always made. We like chunky soups. Like me
Mhm,
personally, and my dad and stuff, we don't like thin soups. It has to have some kind of substance to it. So
mhm.
we've always done. My dad has always just done like kidney beans. But as I've gotten older, me and my husband both like love all kinds of beans. So I had black beans. I had all kinds of different beans. I use hamburger meat and Italian sausage, and I do put onions and peppers in my chili as well with diced tomatoes and whole peeled tomatoes. So, but
And
everybody's is different. So, and of course the seasonings and stuff. So,
yeah, I think with the beans, I think they call it like a home style chili.
yeah, that's more of what we make. Yeah, for sure. When I think of your
Like the
type of
traditional
chili, I
one.
think of like coney dogs or like French fries. That's the only time I've ever had chili without beans in it. So,
Yeah, and I use ground pork and ground
okay.
beef, and then I
Yeah.
also use bacon.
Yeah. Oh, bacon. That's a good. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I've,
the secret ingredient for my recipe is actually
mhm.
dark chocolate.
I've heard that before, and that actually brings up something I wanted to ask you since are you originally from Ohio? Have you always lived in Ohio?
I was born in Nebraska.
Okay.
Um, lived in Colorado for a short period of time, but I grew up in Ohio.
Because I was born in Illinois and then I lived in Kentucky and then came to Ohio, but I was working somewhere in Norwalk probably like 7, 8 years ago, and they thought I was crazy because I had never heard of eating peanut butter sandwiches with chili. Is that a thing that you and your family do or something that you know of?
No,
They
that's
swore to me that it was an
huh,
Ohio thing and that everyone in Ohio ate it that way, and I have never heard that before, so
I've not heard that either. The
yeah.
only thing that is considered Ohio with chili that I'm aware of is the chili on spaghetti noodles.
Yeah, Skyline chili, yeah,
Yeah, that's what it's
yeah.
called.
I've
Mm.
never had actual Skyline, but when Steak and Shake was actually good to go eat at, and you could go, like, after going to the bar and stuff like that, I would go there and get their version of that, but
I make a chili mac with my chili sometimes.
Yeah, I love that. I always
Mhm.
make so much. That's something I don't know if you find that in your cooking as too. I always cook for an army and it's just me and my husband for me. So like I always have leftovers, so I don't know how to cook small batches. So I try to use my chili for other things, like you said, maybe mac and cheese chili one day or like hot dogs and stuff, or I've been trying to freeze it and stuff like that. So
There's almost never leftovers with my chili.
no.
It gets eaten
Excuse
really
me.
quick. Yeah, it's my chili is really good. Well, and I
Yeah.
mentioned this to you before. My chili's done pretty well in cook-offs.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
had
have
one
a
too, but it was more
desire
like a
to
family thing, but yeah.
I have a desire to eventually compete at the international level,
Oh, that's cool.
national chili competitions,
Yeah.
um, but they got very strict rules about how you do it. So I
Mhm.
gotta kind of modify my recipe to be.
Right. Yeah. I always want to do like the local ones and stuff like that. And that's something that's on my bucket list this year is to do something like that because like we said, there's different ways. Ours are completely different. It doesn't mean they're right or wrong. That's just how we know them and grew up with them. And but
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool to see what people think. Like the one I did, some people have never had my type with like all the beans and the veggies and stuff like that, and they were surprised they liked it. So like you don't know until you try it and stuff. So
And I grew up on it with the beans in it, but when
yeah.
I when I started, creating my own recipe, I went away from beans.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had a friend that put mushrooms. I was surprised, and I like mushrooms, but it was actually good though. But that's how they make their family chili. So
it's interesting. I think
yeah,
once you start adding things outside of the chili
it's
and
not. Yeah,
meat, it becomes just soup. Some
right.
like
A
a different
soup.
form of soup. Like you got bean soup and
Right.
chicken soup with all that stuff. Like, I don't need.
Yeah.
But that's the way I look at
Right.
it.
Well, this was fun to wrap it up. I've had a lot of fun today. I hope you've enjoyed, and thanks for answering some of the serious questions as well.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
I
this is
had fun.
always fun. I always like to bring past guests as well because we kind of know each other a little bit more. Makes it
Yeah.
more fun as well. So these are always fun. Anybody listening, we're always looking for questions, and I got a lot more of viewer questions this time, so it was kind of cool to add those. And if your question didn't get answered today, I have like a abundance. I'm growing my category, so eventually everybody's will get answered. So,
Heck yeah. I like this.
well,
This was fun.
awesome. Well, thank you so much. I will be releasing this. I always release the What Would Auntie Mel do the last Friday of the month, so that will be this week, actually, the 24th. So this episode will be coming out, and it'll be full video for everybody, so you guys can watch it on YouTube, watch the wheel spin and everything. So,
Do
but yeah,
Fridays with
so
me.
yes, yep. I know. I was gonna
Oh
say last
boy.
Friday we did ours, so yeah. But
Mhm.
awesome. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And until next time, this is Auntie Mel signing off. All right, friends, that's a wrap on today's episode of Auntie Mel Life Unfiltered. Thank you for spending this time with me and stepping into the real, the raw, the messy, and the magical, because you know we don't do surface level here. If this episode hit home, made you laugh, or helped you feel a little less alone, go ahead and follow the podcast and share it with someone who might need it too. And remember, you are never too much, never too little, and never alone on this wild ride. I'll meet you back here next time for more truth, more feels, and more unfiltered goodness. This is Auntie Mel signing off. Stay real, stay kind, and stay unfiltered. Thanks for hanging out with me today. This is Auntie Mel. If this episode made you laugh, think, or feel a little less alone, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Sharing it really helps this community grow. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and right here on YouTube. I'll see you in the next episode of Life Unfiltered.